Leland live on your radio, and boy, it's sort of an action-packed day here as we continue our shows on the road today in Rapid City, South Dakota. Not on scene anywhere in particular. We wanted to do some stuff outside today, but the weather has turned, and we got a lot of weather to talk about here as we get right off the top of the hour here at 4 o'clock. By the way, the show brought to you this hour by CrockerMovingServices.com. Eric Crocker and his whole team ready to help you get that stuff moved, whether it's just a 2-hour deal, you just got a few big heavy things, or you got a long way to go and a lot of stuff that you got to get moved. This is the company that's going to take good care of it. Eric is just an honorable guy. There's still honorable people left in the world, and he's one of them. Served in the Marine Corps, got out of the Marine Corps, decided to start a moving company. And if you think about it, those two are pretty consistent with each other. Discipline, doing things right, logistics, leading your guys, showing up on time, being efficient. That's what you want in your mover. That's what you get with Crocker. And that's why the audience here on the station for, I guess, going on close to 10 years now has appreciated all the work Crocker has done for so many people in this audience. Again, they've got a 2-hour minimum, so if all you need is just one big old heavy thing, or just, I've seen them move 3-room situations in less than 2 hours, short distance and all that. And they're good at estimating what it's going to take. And so you're not, no surprises with Crocker. CrockerMovingServices.com. Talk to them about how that 2-hour rate works, and they'll get it done for you this summer as well. All right, back on the weather for a minute. Let's start at home. We've got this potential. Now, there's some storms out there this afternoon, as usual. It's been a very wet pattern for Birmingham and Alabama here so far this summer. A lot of folks already attributing that to this El Nino pattern that is really affecting the whole world. Warm waters in the Pacific. By the way, if any moron tries to tell you that's global climate change, that warmth is coming from beneath the ocean surface, not the temperature of the air. That's just ignorance. And it's a pattern that's been observed back to the 1800s, before the invention of the car. So, but it does affect weather cycles, and it creates sort of a, in my words, these are very pedestrian words, kind of a redistribution of the water. So some places will wind up with heavier floods or snows, and some places are going to wind up with more droughts and fires. And that's what we're seeing here in the United States. I just saw a headline a second ago where they've had to deploy the National Guard near Minnesota to help with a wildfire that's taken out there. We've come across several fire situations in the road trip this summer already. The conditions over where we were in that part of Wyoming near Cody were fine. They had been getting rain, but then you get further east, and we're back over here in the Dakotas, and it's again back to drought, back to high intense heat. It's one of the reasons we're inside today. So we've got temperatures in the hundreds. They're breaking records out here right now with high winds and a very dangerous situation in parts of the country. Meantime, in our world, we've got a potential for a tropical system this weekend. And it's just on the outside. Let me give you the lay of the land. And, of course, this forecast will get refined as we go toward the weekend. But the forecasters use a number of tools nowadays, and they've got a couple of sort of international weather models that are run to predict patterns and whatnot. And they'll use those and that data to actually produce a forecast using their instincts and judgment. One of the new things that's being used nowadays are these AI models, and some of those can be wildly inaccurate. But we've got several starting to show some consistency, and there may be some kind of development down in the Gulf of Mexico probably by the weekend. The potential is there. Where it would go and how big it would be and what form it would be, we don't know. But even a tropical storm can dump flooding rains on a rain-soaked south at this point as well. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that after so many rounds of rain and flooding all around Birmingham. That has some potential. Now, one of these models did have it kind of coming. What usually affects us is when it hits around the Panama City area over toward Gulf Shores and heads north. If any of these things head in our direction, that can bring tropical type levels of rainfall. And then, of course, I don't even think any of these models are predicting a hurricane, but that's probably within the realm of possibility as well. Yeah, just know that nothing for certain at all yet, but could be more wet weather on the way. I hate that because I've got construction going on at the house, and I really want them to get done. And at this pace, we might have it done, AJ, by next year. By the time I'm on another vacation, we might be able to get it done because they'll get a couple of days work done, and then the rain sets in and just messes things up. It's just the nature of the beast. Let's see. All right. The big thing that we got shifted over to last hour was all the speculation about Iran. Developments on that starting to happen fast and furiously. And if you're just tuning in, the president has a big speech to the nation at 8 o'clock our time on Thursday night. No details being given about what it's about. Nothing but pure speculation all over the internet. Most folks do believe it has something to do with a repositioning in the Iran situation. There's a word tonight that the president may have notified Congress already of a, quote, new war strategy. I think that's about timing and complying with the War Powers Act so that there's notification given to Congress when we're changing strategy, and it sort of resets the clock on all that. That gets into technical weeds, but I don't know what's going on. We've talked about reinstituting the blockade. That may happen in the next 48 hours. So a lot of belligerence suddenly as things appear to have broken down completely with trying to deal with these maniacs in that country. So we got that going on today. And then, of course, there's the Lindsey Graham story, which we talked about right off the top. Let's revisit that for a minute. Just a little while ago, in fact, about an hour ago, we saw the governor of South Carolina come out and appoint Lindsey Graham's sister. Her name's Darlene. It's Darlene Graham, and I don't even have her last name in front of me. She has I suppose, a married name, Graham being her maiden name. And she came across very straightforward, very much like a genteel Southern woman that you'd know in your own life. And, excuse me, apparently the two of them were very, very close in life. I don't know much about her political acumen or whatever else, or how she's perceived in South Carolina, but she's been appointed, as is the governor's right and duty, to fill that position quickly as critical votes could be forthcoming in the Senate this week. She'll quickly get her way to D.C. to be sworn in. She's been appointed. She'll take the seat for the remainder of this term, which should end at the end of the year, or early January, actually. And then, of course, we have the midterms going on. And as many of you know, Graham just won a political primary in the Republican Party in that state. And so the party's going to have some kind of snap primary or process for nominating somebody for that seat. And if they're smart, they won't do like the Democrats have repeatedly done lately when they're in alerts, is to try to handpick somebody without any input from the people. I don't know what the timeline will allow, but if they do a Kamala Harris type coronation or this Graham Plattner chaos or these other occasions when the Democrats decide that the party infrastructure will pick their nominee. Now, look, that's legitimate, and you can do it that way. Parties can select their nominees any way they want to. They used to have state conventions, and then later on, and especially for Senate, you had more and more people wanting a popular vote. That is, people go to the polls and vote in these party primaries. That's the only reason the rest of us go out and vote. There was a time when the senators were picked by the legislatures in those states. Some people would love for us to go back to that model. But for now, the South Carolinians have to kind of get it together and figure out whatever it is they're going to want to do with that nomination. And we'll give you any updates we find out about. Another point on that is we don't know whether Darlene, can we all call her Darlene since we've met her today in a news conference? We don't know whether Darlene has an ambition to fulfill her brother's seat beyond this special appointment. In other words, run for the seat herself. We'll see. I would imagine she would be the front runner, having gotten the nomination, achieving some experience, and then, of course, having the connection with Lindsey Graham. Though all of his faults and all the criticism from around the country, South Carolinians tend to like this guy. We've got a couple of updates on some other stuff. Let me get this out there as we head toward the break this hour. Apparently there's been a shooting outside the Wilson County, North Carolina courthouse. A guy named Abdul Karim Mustafa, clearly an Irish chap, has been arrested after he ambushed a 19-year-old woman as she was leaving the courthouse, shot her 6 times, big national story there. All kind of violence in the news today. We had an incident in Maine today as well. By now you've heard about ICE had to take this guy out. The way I understand the story at this point, this was a Colombian national who had been given final deportation orders. They were acting on those deportation orders. This guy decided to resist and run over him with his car. He got capped. Then, of course, bedwetters and booger eaters showed up strategically en masse at, believe it or not, Susan Collins' office, which I find suspicious and highly political. They're in the middle of chaos in Maine with the Democrat Party nomination going to hell over there, and giving Susan Collins an advantage to be able to stay in the Senate. And suddenly something like this happens, and they immediately target it toward her, as if her office had anything to do with this Colombian national staying here longer than his deportation orders would allow. Suddenly it's her fault. That's the politics of our day. They hijack any tragic, emotional incident and co-opt it for their political gain or for political vilification. And they went after Susan Collins, tried to break into her office today, according to some witnesses in Maine. All that appears to be more little extra coincidental, I guess you would say. What a crazy day in the news to have a Monday going. 545-9950. If y'all want to get on the show, get on in here, man, and we will put y'all on the radio, talk about whatever's on your mind, whether it's this Graham situation or any of these other things. There's stuff developing by the minute, it seems today. Of course, just to repeat a little bit, we are on location and just rolled into Rapid City, South Dakota for a few shows this week. Just staying indoors today because of the very highly unusual weather that they're having up here, freaking everybody out with 100-plus degree temperatures. All right, let me talk about our friends at Alabama Dental. That is Dr. Brian and his whole team over there, ready to get your pearly whites even more pearly white. Dr. Brian's a great guy with a great practice. He and his three colleagues there, all specialists in different areas of dentistry, are ready to take care of you as late as 7 o'clock at night and even on Saturday. How about that? I remember when he first told me that, I was like, you're open on Saturday? I'd never heard, outside of these medical dock-in-a-box places for, weird emergencies on the weekends, I didn't know a practice like dentistry would give the convenience to us to be able to get in there and get this kind of stuff done. So even if it's routine work, because you got to get a cleaning, you need some x-rays, you're just trying to get that done and checked off your list, or in particular, if it's an emergency and you're really in pain and you need some relief before next week and you're trying to get through a weekend, it's nice to have a practice that shows a bit of deference to their patients in terms of flexibility, and I love that about them. It's alabamadental.com. Y'all can get them online there, get your appointment, take the whole family. And once you're in the practice, man, once you're on their, you're one of their patients, I'm sure they'll squeeze you in if you wind up with a tough situation. Plus, you'll like their personalities. They're highly trained professionals that are there, down to every hygienist. The whole attitude there, it's just a positive place to go and visit. A lot of y'all hate going to the dentist, and I don't understand that. They understand that at Alabama Dental, so they try to make it as easy on you as they can. It's alabamadental.com, alabamadental.com. Quick break, back in a minute, Leland Live. Man, let's get back after it. Work Trucks bringing you the show this hour. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. They're downtown Birmingham. If you need a commercial-based truck, they've probably got one on the lot in a configuration that'll work for you. If not, they can track it down for you. Bub and his team are good at this stuff. This is their business. And so they'll go out in the world and find one that's either configured like you want or is the chassis or the body that you need and get you going. Whether you're in business or some people like churches need vans and nonprofits, they've got passenger vans, cargo vans, flatbeds, box trucks of every shape and size, and of course specialty trucks like with the booms, the man lifts on them, and the cranes and the other thingy doodles and whatever else that you need for business, outfitted for electrical work or plumbing or whatever you're doing, even just plain straight pickup. Maybe you just need a shop truck to get some stuff run around town. They go through these things 125 points, so they're ready for work. They just won't put it on the lot unless it's been completely checked out. Low miles, so you get the depreciation of a pre-owned with low miles. Everything's right about it. Financing, extended warranties. It's a great crew down there. Y'all go see Work Trucks. If you're trying to keep your business moving, keep your overhead down and everything out there and getting business down the road, it's TRUX. I love these creative spellings. We got a lot of them with our sponsors on the show. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. All right, here's our buddy Phil. Haven't heard from him in a while over in Alabaster on line 3. We'll start throwing the phone calls up. Phil, what's up with you tonight?
Hey, Leland, I just wanted to tell you that you just came through, if you came down the interstate through Gillette, Wyoming.
Yeah.
It's one, I don't know, you should have stopped there. They have one of the largest coal mining outfits there. There's enough coal to be stripped for 100 years. And my daughter, she is one of the top hand surgeons in Wyoming. She's from Alabama. She went to Auburn.
Very
and,
cool.
if you go by a place called Black Hills Orthopedics, just go by and ask for Dr. Monica Mormon, and she would love to see somebody from Alabama.
Well, that's very nice of you to tell me all that. Is that coal? I'm going to ask you about that. I passed something on the interstate. We actually decided to come over yesterday because it was so hot. It wasn't anything we could do. We're just kind of hiding from the heat anyway. So we said, let's get some driving done. And I did pass an operation where it looked like they had a coal chute from one side of the interstate that went under the interstate over to some kind of facility on the right side, I guess, going the way I was going. And it was an impressive operation. It looked like coal, but I couldn't tell what was going on, but I bet that was it.
That was it. That's one of the largest strip mining coal seams. They've got enough coal to strip for 100 years. And I'm just going to say, if my daughter still knows the superintendent of that coal mine, she might could get you him to give you a tour of that. I have been on that tour, and man, that is some more. And it's the soft coal. It's the kind of coal that doesn't give off the smoke and fumes and all like some of it does. So,
well, Phil, thanks for that tip, man.
Just know you're in a beautiful. I've been where you're located right now several times to see my daughter. I'm getting too old to come up there now. I'm 86, and it's a hard drive. So
it sure
but
is.
If you can, Black Hills Orthopedics. Her name is Dr. Monica Mormon, and she would love to hear from somebody from Alabama.
Well, I bet even more so she'd love to know that her dad was so proud he told the world about it on the radio. So that's very cool, man.
Oh, me. Well,
thanks, Phil.
I don't know. All my grandchildren are up there, but I don't get to see them.
Yeah, boy, I know that's tough. I can relate a little bit, too. I appreciate that, Phil. Good stuff, man. Yeah, there's so many connections to South Dakota from our state. Even, I guess maybe I'm getting further east, but I was talking to our dear friend Andrea Lindenberg, that used to be on with us on the station, and I think she was telling me her daughters moved here. Her family's from here. She'd always talk about South Dakota, and just everywhere you turn, these are just some of the finest people in the country. And we've only gotten here just late last night, and on show days, it's really hard for me to do. This part of the trip is not at all a vacation. There's a lot of moving and getting set up. It's like being in a band almost. You got to set up and do your gig, get to the next town. So I wish I had time to do all these things that people are suggesting at each stop, because there's so much to see. This is probably my third trip through here, and I've still not been able to see it all. But we'll get a couple of stops in for you guys tomorrow and the next day, then heading on down to Cheyenne for the rodeo. Hopefully we'll get all that worked out for the last couple of days of the week. Should be a fun week with these road shows. I hope you'll join us, and join us on all the video platforms where we're simulcasting the video version. Today ain't much to look at, just me at the Mobile Command Center taking care of business. Back here in a minute, bottom of the hour, Leland Love. It's 4:34, Leland Live, Talk 99.5, Allen and Company bringing you the show this hour. The Thompson family over in Vestavia. Man, we've turned the corner now. I keep saying it, and some people may be getting on you nervous, but I find it optimistic that, yeah, Christmas is closer than you think. Cold weather, all your family and friends. Start thinking about your gift giving now, and if it's something special, and in some cases, expensive when it comes to fine jewelry, reach out to Allen and Company. Let them start working with you now. Get a plan. They can help you finance that project. If it's, I don't know, some people like to pop the question during the holidays. Maybe a good time for a ring upgrade, fellas, for your Boo Things ring from back when y'all were poor and broken in love and you got married in your 20s, and now she's put up with you for decades. Size that ring up. She'll love it. You can repurpose the old stone, too, into something else that she can also keep, and they'll work with you with that whole process at Allen and Company, and then other gift giving as well. It's just a wonderful store. It's nice to have a personal jeweler that can do all these things like Allen, with all the repairs and upgrades and cleanings and resizings and things you have to do from time to time with your precious pieces. What you need to know is everything you take into Allen and Company stays with them. They don't have to ship it off and have somebody do the work. They do it right there. Allen even tells me over the years he tries to get things turned around within a work week. Depends on how complex your deal is. If they got to go track some stones down to match up for missing stones, it might take a minute. But otherwise, they try to get it done and get it right back to you, put it right back in your hand. It's Allen and Company over in Vestavia. Near the car wash, I like to give you all Birmingham directions. If you know Vestavia, it's one big hill full of stores. And if you're going up the hill, they're on the right side. If you're going down the hill, they're on the left side. Allen and Company. AJ, is Daryl still there? We'll try to get some of these calls in, and then let me get you updated on a lot of things that seem to be happening at once. Daryl, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, Leland, how you and your boo doing? Y'all having a hell of a trip, I hope. I hope y'all having fun.
The vacation part was a lot more fun than the grind home, but we're enjoying just being able to work from the road. So, yeah, man, life is good.
Yeah, well, I come with some hard news to you, because our president going to have to come with it, man, because my people and other people tell about the gas prices. He needs to eliminate these people on this gas price, man, and then the beef. It's bad. He got to do something by November, Leland. I'm just being real. And he had it going on. And you can't let these people. I told you, I know pimpology. You can't let these people pimp you. You know, the Iranians are pimping. They trying to work him out, and they know what they're doing. No, but he cannot fight. We just ease it out, because he gonna lose, man. On the people, because gas prices and hamburgers up, and I paid $50-something, me and my girl, Relita, for a 10-pound bag of hamburger. One of the big roads in Walmart, and she complaining. She a UAB nurse, and they get paid well, and she complaining. So Trump got to do it in gas is high. He had it down to like 306 on Finley at the Speedway. And then it seemed like somebody knows something. I picked with him, and then it's back up to 50 cents the next day, Leland. And I'm telling you, can't play the game. It's too close to the election, and I'm just being honest, my friend. I love you.
No, I get it. I think Trump's aware, the Iranians are aware, the Republicans are aware of the oil politics and the way the price of gas affects elections. I think what he's done is he's been at the negotiating table and done his due diligence to try to work something out. This guy, by nature, is a deal maker. He'd rather make a deal. It seems like something's changed, and I believe it started with them trying to threaten his life last weekend, and now some of the heaviest bombing of the night is happening.
I do go on. I go to DEFCON 2 on that.
Well, looks like that's where we're heading right now. It does.
That's right.
We're escalating. We're going back to Plan A, and that is whoop that ass. Put something on them Ajax can't take off, and I think that's what's coming this week.
I will agree with you. You threatened me, and they threatened the man. I can understand that. They threatened to take his life. He going to DEFCON 2. I go to DEFCON 1. I shoot one of them nukes over there and blast them all away.
Look out. Okay.
I'm going to let you go, Lisa. I love you, man.
Thank you, brother. Daryl's our barometer, man. He keeps us up. He's got his ear to the ground and keeps us posted. He's been right a bunch about what people are saying and what the buzz is. And he is not wrong about the pressure that comes from the price of those things and whatnot. Okay, let's switch back to that since Daryl put us on that subject, because there are a lot of different theories floating around. A lot of it has to do with, I guess you'd at this point call it a mystery surrounding the speech that Trump's going to give. It's being presented as a speech to the nation on Thursday night. Now, I've gone through my nostalgia of how that used to be, I think, more meaningful or more dramatic than even it is nowadays, because we've gotten spoiled. We've got a president who does news conferences 2 or 3 times a day. He's always available and accessible. After 4 years of Biden, where they hid the dude and hid his faculties and his lack of ability from the country, and stood behind poorly articulated press, scripted stuff. Now we've got wide open Wild West president, which I prefer. I prefer raw, even comments that are offensive or hurt your feelings. I'd rather hear that than talking points from a bunch of poll-tested BS. It's why most politicians suck nowadays, because they can't be honest to save their lives. And so now we got this raw, bombastic president, and you better soak it up if that's your style, if that's what you like, because he's gone. And for those of you who hand wring and pearl clutch over every negative thing, your life will get more simple. Your country may not be better off for it, but in 2 years, we're back to the standard blow-dried, scripted, playbook politicians, the careerists. I don't really see anybody out there that would have the fight or the moxie to just do what this dude does day in and day out. Bottom line is, he's always out there, always talking, always in front of a camera, loves the camera. We all know that. But that has kind of lowered our, I think it's lowered the drama factor around whatever might be a big presidential announcement. So what is the deal Thursday night? Is it Iran? Plenty of speculation that it is. Apparently Congress has been notified that we're back at war. It restarts the clock under the War Powers Act. We've got reports coming in right now from CENTCOM that we've started a fresh round of bombing this evening. I think this would be our 4th or 5th round over strategic targets all around the country. The naval blockade's supposed to start back up in 48 hours. It's less than that now, but that was announced today, where we're going to blockade them and try to free all the other ships in the region. We're back to the military thing. The negotiating table does not work with these end times radical fundamentalist theological lunatics, and so here we go. But then there's this. There is a lot of reporting tonight coming from pretty credible sources that what is going to be announced on Thursday night is intelligence evidence that is gathered about a foreign country being involved in our elections and skewing the elections in this country. Specifically, there was a report out just a second ago that 2 of the current sitting U.S. Democrat senators benefited from and are in the United States Senate because of voter fraud. And I've always believed this, and that would be Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, elected pretty much at the same time during the time when Georgia, through Raffensperger and all these other weirdos over there, were not doing their due diligence to secure elections. I mean, Georgia certified over 300,000 ballots that should not have been certified in that election, in an election where Biden alone got he only won that state. I say won that state, but he carried, based on the system, by 11,000 votes. Something was always fishy. And now what it appears, if this is true, let me just go down Speculation Avenue. That's right next to Electric Avenue. That they believe a foreign entity was involved. So who was this? The Chinese? They're going to be hard to catch. A lot of the speculation is that it was being run out of Venezuela. Let's talk. So we got Maduro. Now any evidence is accessible to us since the Maduro raid. And a lot of that goes back to some of the electric voting machine companies being based out of this weird communist country. Has that ever made any sense? We'll let the experts fill in the gaps, but this could be what the Thursday thing is about, that it's a speech to the nation about stolen elections. And it's important because look at us. We're at this crossroads right now over the SAVE Act. You may have some people illegitimately in the United States Senate and the Congress through these shady operations that have been set up. Some of this shadiness is clearly legal. because they've legalized it on the state level, like we just saw in California. Some of it was flat illegal and stolen and compromised, and we'll have to see if that's what the president's talking about. It would make sense to me heading into, again, the SAVE Act vote and into the midterms to know how bad it was or what was involved in it. Apparently, the CIA director is going to join the president in this speech to the country. I'll keep digging on it. We'll see if there's any other poo-pooing or if the White House dismisses that reporting, but it could have more to do with the elections than this Iran situation. Meantime, we got 3 full days for folks to speculate. This thing is scheduled for 8 o'clock on Thursday night. Here's another update from Central Command. Just came across a little while ago. Central Command began launching, it says, a 3rd consecutive night of strikes against Iran. That's about all we have on that. All right, more of your phone calls, too. We are live over here in Rapid City, South Dakota. Made the quick trip over from Wyoming. Beautiful part of the country. So much to see here. If you ever want to come and base camp and see Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills, Crazy Horse Monument, and I could go on, just the things that are within base camp of Rapid City. Plus, it's a cool town, and y'all all pop through here. If you're ever planning a road trip out west, this is another fine stop. Just giving you a little taste of South Dakota for a few days. We're back down into Wyoming at the end of the week, then through Colorado and Texas and all the way home starting next week. Some fun stuff planned. But today, of course, as we've told you a couple of times, man, it was just too hot and windy outside with this extreme weather that they're having in this part of the country to try to do any kind of nice, beautiful outdoor shows today. We just need to get it done and keep up with the headlines, which keep coming at us left and right. Again, 545-9950 if you want to get on the show. We are wide open for phone calls. My man AJ over there, after some travel adventures of his own we talked about at the beginning of the show, where he went to turn his rental car in to get on a flight. AJ, tell me if I've got this right. Left his wallet in the car, locked the car, threw his keys in the lockbox at the rental thing, and you can't get on a plane without your wallet. What in the world? That was tough, man.
Man, yes, it was a struggle. And then you try to ask for help, and you can't find nobody to help you.
Nobody cares. No,
nobody cares. Nobody.
Yeah, I know it.
Even the AI person had an attitude with me. I'm like, yo, you're AI.
AI person. AI person? What are you talking about?
When I was trying to move my flight to see if I can get a later flight.
Yep.
And the AI generated telephone prompt that you got to go through because you can't find an actual person to talk to.
And then when you do, they're in India. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, or they at home barely just woke up. I'm like, I miss the days when you had like real people that you could talk to.
I do too. You got on the plane though. You made it.
I know. I got a car. I had to drive 6 hours from Baton Rouge.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's right. You already told me that. If you had just gotten in a car to start with and driven at the beginning of that whole episode, you'd have been home the day before, right?
Oh yeah. I would have been. It would have been easy.
It's worth it. It's totally worth it. Planes. It's why I do like this kind of travel. I mean, you're gonna run into your own problems. Somebody reached out to me and said, "Explain that again. What happened to you about the slide being stuck?" Y'all know my famous story of I left the thing out and hit my barn door and right before a Jawbone Jam one year and had to go down the road with it open. So we're getting ready to leave, AJ, and we decided to come early, which was good because had we tried to come in this morning and get that 3-4 hour drive done, then get the show, I don't think we'd have made it because I had a nail in a tire on the Jeep, got that fixed, kind of miraculously that the place was open when we needed it. And then I was closing up. I had unplugged. I had the motor running. All I had to do was pull the last little slide in so we could roll yesterday afternoon. It wouldn't budge. And my first thought was it was the heat. And I even looked it all up online. It was the heat caused some expansion. And it was just stuck because it was probably the surface temperature. It was 105 yesterday. The surface temperature was probably 130 on that metal or more. And so I said, I'm going to let it cool off and just kind of wait. So I gave it a little time. It was finally in the shade, and it still wouldn't budge. So, but what happened was I had done a repair project on that very slide a long time ago, and I speculated based on some codes that a wire had just come loose. but to get to it was just impossible. Just to get back behind the wall at a campground without all the proper tools. But I was able to fish around back there and pull out the wire that went to the motor that was causing the problem. And I had brought, at the last minute, I overpack everything. I had brought this little jumper wire that I had made at home that would allow me to run that slide off a battery from a DeWalt drill. I'm not kidding. You can take a 12-volt or 20-volt battery from one of these drills, put these leads on it, connect it to the wire harness, move that sucker, and so I got it closed. And then today, when I finally got here, I got it fixed. The point being, if I had run into that problem at 5 o'clock this morning trying to get out of there and get here, it'd have been a nightmare. Plus, AJ, I could have had a flat tire and that at the same time. Y'all wouldn't have had me on the radio today. I'd have called you, AJ, and said, call April Marie. I ain't going to make it, because it's risky out here. If anything goes wrong, there's not much margin for error on the clock. The other problem is I lose an hour being on mountain time. So that's a whole nother thing, because some of these parks won't let me check in till 11 to 1 o'clock. Usually it's about 12 to 1 o'clock, and I have to sweet talk my way in early just to dump this thing off to get set up for the show. But it's okay. I like taking risk, and it makes it fun out here. And we just got a couple more weeks of it, and then we'll be back to the same old, same old. Let's get to, do we have time? I'll tell you what, David and Steve, y'all hang on. I think Steve's calling us back. And let's get this break in here so we don't get too far behind. Let me tell you all about Mandu. I've got more and more people in my life, people I know that are doing these GLP-1 shots and pills and whatnot. And that, if you need that help, I'm not judging you. Do your thing. But what I will tell you is people are missing. They're losing the weight, and the scale makes them feel validated. But you're not healthy if you're not eating right and working out still. You still got to make some good decisions, and you got to have some resistance training to keep your muscles from really just atrophying. Bone density is a challenge too. It's not just about weight, it's about health. And the balance to the GLP-1s, if you ask me, is Mandu, because it's the efficiency of the way those things work, but on the resistance training side, because it's not a gym, it's not weights, it's not hours in a meat market gym, standing around in line, try to get on a machine. This is personalized training with electronic muscle stimulation. That suit attached to that machine flexes your muscles for you. And it's so efficient because you can work your whole body in 15 minutes. And it's so intense, you can't even come back the next day. They have to spread out your workouts. So within a few visits a week at 15 minutes a session, a little more time to change into their thing and then put your clothes back on, your street clothes or whatever. But give yourself maybe an hour, a couple, 3 days a week. You'll be stunned at how quick the results start to come and how good you feel by doing something different, because what's been happening ain't working. We all know it. Let's try Mandu, M-A-N-D-U-U. They've got a studio downtown Homewood up on one of those second floor walk-ups in downtown. You can find them kind of across from the toy store. Everybody knows the toy store. And then, of course, they've got a location on University over in Tuscaloosa and one in Huntsville. Y'all try it out there and see if this will be just the thing to get you ahead. It's called Mandu, M-A-N-D-U-U, mandu.com. Y'all, EcoView Windows can help you sleep better at night by just buttoning up your house and saving you on your energy bill. These are the best windows and doors around. Becky Jackson and her husband set out to create the best window and door company. So they bought the place, fired everybody, changed up the product line, and rehired the best installers in the business. And they so stand behind what they do. They tell you they can save you 35% on your heating and cooling bills over the course of the first 12 months. If you let them button up your whole house, let them come give you a free estimate and show you what they can do to have beautiful new windows that open and close right and save you on your bills, make you sleep better in all this heat and humidity. It's at ecoviewwindows.com, ecoviewwindows.com. All right, let's get Steve back in here. He was in here a second ago, and see if we can get David in here too. Steve, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Leland. Yeah, I was actually calling you originally about Cooper and Ivy, but I guess it's really not news. It's just about the directions of the Intercoastal Canal, the new bridge, and the old bridge. Yeah. But basically, their legacy now is a bunch of mayors in Baldwin County, and I think around the state, have signed something just asking Cooper and Ivy not to do anything new with the ALDOT. Wait till whatever.
They're trying to run the clock and get Tupperville in there, because they don't trust the guy.
I spent the 50th anniversary of the floods. I was in Rapid City, and I talked to two different people about it. And you basically have to be really 57, 56 to really remember anything about it now.
Yep.
And one lady I talked to, she was real young, and she was like 5, and all she remembered was like her parents throwing all this stuff in their station wagon, and they drove like an hour and a half west of the east back into South Dakota. And she says she always feels guilty because she stayed at her grandparents' farm, and it was like the summer of her life. And the other lady was about 10 or 11, so I guess she was like maybe 5th grade. And she lost a lot of her classmates and a lot of family.
Hey,
and
Steve, man, I hate to interrupt, but we got to hit the top of the hour. A little late in the hour. Back in a minute.